This episode includes a guided meditation. If you are driving, please be mindful and do not listen to this meditation while you are doing so. Always make sure to listen when you are in a safe environment where you can be relaxed and comfortable. Thank you. Welcome to Ask, Learn, Heal, a podcast to support wellness through energy healing, crystal healing, self-care, and guided meditations. I'm your host, Maryjo. Welcome to the Ask, Learn, Heal podcast. I'm Maryjo, your host, and in this episode, I want to talk with you about how is it that we can engage the elements of earth, of fire, water, wind, and even storm to be able to support healing that is taking place within us. And if you are a healing practitioner working with others, how you may also bring these elements into your healing practice. So I work specifically with earth, fire, water, wind, and storm, and I'm going to talk more about those because they really do really extend into every aspect of healing work and teaching work and mentoring work that I do. We are holistic beings, yet we are living in a physical reality. So we have a physical body and we experience emotions and feelings and thoughts and experiences that we need to process through our physical experience. So as I am talking about these various elements and what they represent, the archetypal energies they represent, and how it is that we can draw those energies intentionally into the work that we're doing, either for our own self-care or for the work that we may be doing with another person, we can really access the powerful energies within those 5 elements. So I always like to start with earth, and if you have listened to any of my other podcasts or perhaps watched any of my YouTube videos, you will have an understanding how I always like to go to earth. I start with earth, and earth is always going to be a grounding element to support any kind of healing we're doing. Earth really has a great deal to do with the physical experience, with our physical body. Our physical body is the densest of the energy field, the various aspects of our beingness that we have in physical form. And so not surprising, earth is the densest of the elements. So it has this grounding quality. It has this literally coming back home and getting our feet underneath us kind of quality that I think is absolutely essential whether we're doing self-healing or working with another person. When we feel grounded and centered, we are calmer, we think more clearly, we have a sense of safety and belonging with us, and earth really helps support that. In a little while, we are going to be shifting into a guided meditation, and during that meditation, you're going to have an opportunity to experience the various energies of the elements within your body and see perhaps even through that very simple and brief meditation if there are particular elements that are really calling out to you because they're feeling really strong, or you're noticing that it's an area where you could benefit from some more intentional focus. So this earth is always about that real sense of having our feet beneath our hips beneath our shoulders, really being where our feet are. And that then, of course, moves into feelings and thoughts and experiences and all the day-to-day actions and activities that we move through. If we are able to be in a place of centeredness and groundedness, we are going to do better, we're going to feel better. And so earth is very helpful for all of the various aspects of our being, particularly effective when we are working on healing our physical body. So whether it's if you have a cold or the flu, or whether you are moving through post-surgery, or perhaps you have a ligament or a bone that is not well, so to speak. Perhaps you've had an injury that you're healing. Those are times when you're really going to find it helpful to intentionally work with the earth element. The earth element has a couple different qualities. It can be a very much a vitalizing and reinvigorating energy that comes from the earth, and it can also be a very nurturing, soothing, supportive energy that comes from the earth. So earth in and of itself, in my experience, also has these two nuanced energies of vitality and nurturing. And again, calling forth both of them or one over the other, depending on what may be arising for you, is how it's going to be really helpful. The second element that I always like to work with is fire. So fire is creative. Fire has a lot of action going on. It can really burn off a lot of unneeded energies, and it could be perhaps past patterns or experiences that we're just in the process of clearing. So there has this real cleansing kind of therapeutic effect, just like an intentional prairie fire might be able to clear away a lot of the weeds so that the more valuable and important seeds that are ready to emerge are able to do so more readily. So fire has this great ability to fire off, burn off, clear off aspects of our experiences, emotions, thoughts, feelings. Even at a physical level, we have a lot of metabolism, a lot of activity going on with that pulsing heart and that pumping of the blood and the processes that take place within the gastrointestinal system. All of the work that our cells do really is an action of fire. So think of it that way. The nervous system also is very much connected with fire. It's not uncommon if you are living in an area that does experience the 4 seasons of the year. In the wintertime, things get much drier. It's not uncommon to accidentally give somebody that you touch a shock. So that's where that fire moves through our nervous system and it moves through our physical body. So there is a way that we can actually have fire manifest and remind us that it is here and present and can be very helpful for us. Fire also has a way of kind of lighting a fire underneath us, and we've all had somebody tell us, or we've said that to somebody ourselves, that, hey, do I need to light a fire under you to get you moving? That's a wonderful way that our own language and the idioms within our language express an element and how it can be really helpful. So because of the nervous system connection with fire, fire really is associated very easily with thoughts. And so if we have a lot of kind of volatile, look at that word I just used, this volatile, fiery, kind of lashing out, angry types of thoughts and expressions, that is an overactive fire. Earth will settle that down. So going back to Earth, Earth will always help balance any of the other elements that are out of balance simply by intentionally doing work with the Earth again. So that's fire. And then we take a look at water. Now, water is very soothing and calming. Water has a great deal to do with emotions. It's not surprising then that when we're happy or when we're sad, we may have and express tears of joy or tears of sadness. So our own body does respond with water when we're working with emotions. So when we think about water, it's, yes, it's lovely. It's soothing. We can look at a very gentle stream. We can look at a very lovely still lake and really have this sense of tranquility. Yet, if we were to take a look at waterfalls or crashing waves and lots of currents, we can see that water can also be very transformative. It can shift, it can polish, it can smooth out rough edges and crack open and break open new ways of experiencing life. So if we are feeling that we really need this, we have this sense that we want to move into a place of having a better clarity around our emotions, around our feelings, working with water can be very, very helpful. If we feel like we're kind of stuck, maybe we are very much like I said, lighting a fire underneath somebody. If they seem like they've been kind of stuck and not really motivated, that's also an example of too much water. Fire and water are the same polarity. It's just one end or the other. So again, just as fire can be balanced with earth, water can be balanced with earth. So rather than being on the teeter-totter of too much fire and not enough water, too much water and not enough fire, we can bring earth into our work, and we can balance out that tendency that we may have from time to time to be too watery or too fiery. So again, this is an example of how the elements do work together. They are interconnected just as we are interconnected with all of the various aspects of our own body and energy field, and also how we are interconnected with all other beings on the planet. This is just a wonderful way for us to take a look at the fact that sometimes we have too much water going on. And again, water really ties in with emotions, and we can work with earth to bring that back into balance. Water is represented within the fluids of the body. So if we, for example, are dehydrated, we don't have enough physical water in our body, and it's an indication that we are underbalanced when it comes to water energetically. And also, again, we could have too much fire because they're really the same teeter-totter, just two ends of the polarity. So that's earth, fire, and water. The earth has to do with the physical body. Fire has to do with more of that mental processing in the nervous system. Water has to do with the emotions and feelings. So then we're able to shift into wind. Now, wind is an element that calls in clarity. It helps to clear out the dust bunnies from the corner. It helps to clear out the cobwebs of our mind so that we can have more clarity in thought, more clarity in action, more clarity in speech. And ultimately, as we clear our mind, our lower mind, and I think of that as our own conscious personality will, is able to better connect with those higher aspects of divine source mind, that higher will, that inner healer, that inner self that is constantly trickling down insights and guidance and wisdom from those spiritual realms. As we calm our physical mind and our conscious awareness of thoughts, we are able to calm and settle, and that's when the insights become more clear to us. So wind has this beautiful, gentle breeze that can be very lovely if it's a hot day and we were looking and asking for a little bit of a breeze. It can also be fairly destructive when strong windstorm comes through. It can very much destroy and cause problems within the earth, within structures, and it can cause damage to property and us alike. So wind, when it's really, really swirling, almost gets to the point of being storm, and we're going to talk about storm in a second. But right now I want you to think about wind. When you feel scattered, when you feel kind of spacey, when you're having a hard time just kind of being present, that is a wonderful key to you that lets you know that you have an overabundance of wind within your system. And again, we can go straight to earth and help ground ourselves again to help bring ourselves back into alignment so that that wind can balance out. Sometimes we may have real bogged down thoughts. We're maybe trying to plan something and we just can't seem to get moving forward. We're not exactly sure what we should do next. That would be an example when we may very likely have an underfunctioning of wind within our energy field and within our physical body. Wind also has to do with the air that moves through us. And so when I think of each breath we take in, not only do we draw in oxygen that definitely nurtures and nourishes our entire being, we're also drawing in vital life force. And when we are calm and relaxed, that breath is very, very even. And there's a lot of healing that goes on simply by having a very calm, relaxed state within our being. If we start feeling anxious or stressed, and who hasn't been experiencing that in the last couple years, right? When that happens, we begin to have a dysregulation in our respiratory system. We tend to not breathe as deeply or as relaxed, and it's harder for us to drop into a relaxed state where healing and restoration can take place. Not surprising then if we're with somebody who's pretty upset, or maybe we're the one that's having a hard time. Sometimes the very first thing we may hear offered to us, or we in turn may offer to another, is, okay, just take a couple deep breaths. Just take a couple deep breaths and focus on your feet. Those two statements talk about bringing awareness back to the breath to balance it. And there's that earth again. So always go back to earth. Earth will help correct and rebalance any of the elements. So those are the four basic elements of earth, fire, water, and wind. And then I work with storm. And you may say, storm's not even an element. How does that fit in? Well, from the practice and the philosophy that I work with, I would like to have you imagine that storm actually represents perfect balance with all the other elements. So that storm happens, storm occurs when all those other elements are dynamically balanced. So we can have a big windstorm and it's throwing maybe lawn furniture around and it's breaking branches. And if it really revs up and now we start having rain and we start having lightning and we start having thunder and then there's like this earth rumbling, now we've got storm. And when we think about storm and going into the very middle of that storm, it becomes complete peace, just like being in the center of the eye of a hurricane, where there is nothing that is pulling us off one way or the other. We are neutral. We are absolutely still, and we are the observer. So in my work with storm, whenever that comes up, when I'm working with clients and students, whenever storm shows up, it gives me a clue that there is transformation in the works. It means that there is something that either is currently and consciously aware of happening for my clients and students, or it's just on the cusp of taking place. So as you are working with these elements, and again, we're going to move into a meditation in just a moment, begin to get familiar with how those elements show up within your body and within your energy system. And then you can begin to more clearly focus in on what is happening in your life when things seem a bit disarrayed or a bit uneasy. Perhaps the equilibrium is not where you'd like it. You can stop, you can notice, and you can begin to become much more aware of the fact that you may very likely be in the middle of storm and you've got lots going on, and you get to sit and discern what that is like for you. So storm can come in fast and leave fast, or it can kind of come in and reorganize and clear out and declutter, very much like fire can or water can or earth can and wind can. So it's like really bringing these four together in a way that is really quite transformational. So as we talk about these elements, this may be a newer concept for you, and I do have some videos on my YouTube channel that do talk about the elements much more in detail. And so I would certainly encourage you perhaps to take a look at that. And the links are all below in the text portion of this podcast to be able to help you discern a little bit more clearly what it is that you specifically are being invited to work on. So now what I'd like to do is to take a look at settling in to a state of relaxation. I'm going to be starting a guided meditation. So if you are driving or operating any kind of machinery while you're listening to this podcast, I'm going to ask you to pause it until you can listen to the guided meditation in a safe way. It's going to be important for you to allow yourself to be comfortable. So begin by gently taking a couple deep breaths. And simply bringing your awareness to your heart space. This beautiful, nurturing place. And just breathe into that heart space. Breathing in and releasing out. And now slowly, as you continue to focus on your heart space and this nurturing place that is held within your heart, begin to notice where in your physical body you are feeling density. Notice where there is heaviness. You may find it helpful to start at your feet. Notice if you are aware of a connection with the earth, this subtle downward pull, this magnetic pull of the earth, keeping you grounded, keeping you here in physicality. And now gently do a body scan and notice if there are areas where you are experiencing discomfort, stiffness, pain. And notice the quality of those areas. And no need to fix anything, for nothing is broken. You're simply noticing how you're perceiving some of these denser energies within your body. And now ask your body, show me what it feels like to be connected with the earth element. And again, simply notice how your body is interpreting the earth element to you. And be grateful. And now bring your awareness back to your heart space. And begin to move through your body with another body scan, exploring your body and all the aspects that are hot, where there's fire. Notice if this fire is right under the surface. Is there an emotion or feeling that arises? And to notice where in your body is fire showing up. And ask your body, show me what it feels like, what it is like to connect with fire. And be grateful for the message and the guidance that you receive. And now bring your awareness to your heart center once again. Bring your awareness to your heart. And now begin to do a body scan. Move throughout your entire body in search of the water. Where is it that you feel puffy? Perhaps congested, a fullness, a dryness. And ask your body to show you what it feels like to connect with water. And be grateful for what you are learning about yourself and the way water invites you into partnership. And now returning to your heart again, into that center of rest, of nurturing. Bring your awareness to all of the wind moving through your body in the form of air, oxygen, carbon dioxide, all of the gases. Moving through your body and noticing where is there clarity and where is there a sense of confusion and uncertainty. And as you scan your body, ask your body, teach me how to connect with the wind within. And then listen. And be grateful. And now bringing your awareness to your heart once again, allow yourself to step into the heart center, this peaceful center, and ask your body, where is it that transformation is taking place? For it is there where you encounter storm. Where is it within your body and in your being where earth and fire and water and wind are all balanced and the transformation takes place within you at a physical level, at a mental or emotional level, or at a spiritual level? And simply notice. Notice this is an invitation for you to revisit that which is arising for you with storm, as well as with earth and fire and water and wind. And now, slowly once again, bring your awareness to your heart center, this beautiful center of nurturing, this beautiful center of safety, of compassion, and of goodness and kindness. And be grateful for this introduction that you have had to earth and fire and water and wind and storm within your body and within your life. And very slowly begin to take a couple more deep breaths as you slowly shift back into present moment awareness. Begin wiggling your fingers and toes a little bit, slightly moving your body, offering deep gratitude for this healing and this exploration and this new learning. And taking a final deep breath in and out. Very slowly, open your eyes. So this meditation is a simple way for you to be able to begin to connect with the elements of earth, fire, water, wind, and storm within your own lived experience. Sometimes it's going to be physical. Sometimes it's going to be at a more emotional or a mental level. Sometimes you'll feel like you need a spiritual connection and you feel like there's some kind of a little bit of a block, or it's just not flowing the way you would like. You can revisit this guided meditation and notice, where is it that you are being invited to spend some time. It could be that you are dealing with something physical, yet it has to do with an imbalance within the fire-water polarity. It could be that you're working with some thought processes or emotions that have to do with the earth element. So again, they're all interconnected as your body and being is all interconnected as well. So I hope you found this helpful, working with these elements and really being very intentional about how they are showing up within our lives throughout the day and throughout our life. It's just really an amazing way to be attentive to our self-care needs. So as you continue to explore working with these elements, questions are bound to arise. And I want to make sure before I wrap this podcast up that you have a way of reaching out to me. So I do have a way that you can chat with me right through my webpage. If you are online and I'm online, we might be chatting back and forth that way. My webpage is www.fourthdimensionhealing.com. That's a 4th, dimensionhealing.com. I also can be reached by email, and all of those links are below. You can certainly give me a call as well. Sometimes we have enough things going on in our life where our energy field gets dysregulated enough. It's simply not going to recorrect itself without some support. So if you're feeling like that might be going on for you, give me a call, perhaps energy healing or crystal healing session, or some time in conversation with a mentoring session could be really helpful for you. I also do offer some courses, some free mini courses, as well as in-depth courses in the areas of energy healing and crystal healing through my online school, the Center for Crystal and Healing Studies. And one of my courses in particular, the Human Energy Field and Healing, has a great deal of information about the elements and how to work with them for our own healing, as well as working with them when we're working with somebody else. So again, all those links are below. For now, my intent with this episode is to introduce you to the concept and the kind of the framework of working with the 5 elements of earth, fire, water, wind, and storm, how to notice when things are not aligned, how to notice when things are aligned, how to bring ourselves back into balance, and to be able to really access the vast amount of healing that is available for us for our own care, as well as reaching out and supporting the others that we may be with. So for now, reach out if you have questions. I am very grateful for you. Many blessings. Be well.